Welcome back to my channel. I am your favorite mama of three, Bougie Vintage, and today's video is a chit chat. Get ready with me where I lend my unsolicited opinions that you guys may or may not care about. Obviously right now the most controversial topic is DaBaby versus everybody. This situation is so annoying and it's so multi-layered, but I wanted to get into it because I feel like it's kind of taking on a life of its own. So as you guys know, the annual Rolling Loud festival, concert, whatever you want to call it, just passed, and at that festival lots and lots of artists perform for whoever bought tickets. Okay, now this is a very popular event that people like to go to every year. I don't think that the concert happened last year because of COVID, but it happened this year, and of course DaBaby was one of the performers. Now he already had controversy surrounding his name because of course he brought Tory Lanez out, who, as we know, last year was in an altercation with Megan Thee Stallion. Now Megan Thee Stallion also performed at Rolling Loud, and we'll get into that momentarily because obviously if Tory Lanez was there and he has charges or he has a restraining order in place because of Megan Thee Stallion, and they performed, I think, one after the other, I think that there's something to discuss there because I've never talked about the Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez situation on my channel because a number of reasons, but one of the main reasons is because it's still open. How? Well, we'll get into that later. But back to Mr. DaBaby. Earlier in the evening, DaBaby was getting praise because if you go over your set time, you end up having to pay as the artist. And so he decided that he was going to pay the $10,000 fee or fine so that he can continue putting on a show for his fans. He was having fun, and so everybody was praising him online, like, you know, there's not a lot of artists that will do that. They were even dropping his name beside the one and only Beyonce, okay? They were saying she, her, and a few other people have also done that, paid the fine so that they can put on an actual show and not just a tiny little 30-minute set for their fans. And then I don't know if it was the day after or later the same evening, that praise slowly turned into a whole lot of hate and dragging, and you know, I have to say some of it is rightfully so, but it has definitely been twisted. What he said has been twisted, and I don't really understand how, because if you watch the video on what he said, you hear him clearly. And so I'll insert the clip, the original clip from the concert. But the reason I want to talk about this is because of how, one, it's been dragged out, like I'm over it, but two, I don't understand how what he's said has been turned into what's going on now. I'm using my Pat McGrath palette, by the way. This is, what is this, Mothership 5? Yeah, I don't really understand how what he said has been turned into what it is, but the fact of the matter is he was on stage and he addressed three types of people. He addressed people who do not live with HIV and AIDS. He addressed women with vaginal cavities that smell of water, and he addressed men, down low men, I don't know, gay men that suck dick in parking lots.
You didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that'll make you die in 2-3 weeks. Put a cell phone light in the air. Lady, if your pussy smell like water, put a cell phone light in the air. Fellas,
lights up.
Fellas, if you ain't sucking nigga dick in the parking lot, put your cell phone lights in the air.
Let's be real about this shit.
Yeah, keep it fucking real.
Some of y'all niggas suspect as a motherfucker. Let's be real.
Now, for whatever reason, people have taken the middle part out. So forget that he addressed women because he didn't really say anything too horrible about women this time. But they fused his first statement and his last statement together and turned it into something that it should not have been turned into. In my personal, humble opinion, unsolicited, and nobody asked for it, but we're going to give it anyway. In my opinion, he was dead wrong. Dead wrong. Had no business addressing people that are living with HIV and AIDS or not living with HIV and AIDS. It was just a weird thing to say. Like, why are you even mentioning that? It was definitely insensitive because the way that he said it, I mean, you could have mentioned COVID-19. You could have mentioned people that don't have dogs. Like, I don't freaking know. But he did not have to go to such a sensitive topic because the AIDS crisis, which in my opinion is still a crisis from the 80s, is still unresolved. And the people that are living with AIDS and HIV, or HIV and AIDS, they didn't ask to be living with HIV and AIDS. And that's where I think he was wrong. I feel like he should never have said anything that regarded them, because what he said was very disrespectful. And he was definitely wrong on all counts. Like, leave people living with incurable diseases out of your set, out of introducing your next song. Like, it was just unnecessary and gross. Fair enough. And there is a huge stigma around HIV and AIDS. And he definitely harmed the movement by saying that. And then when it came to having to, you know, clear up what he said or apologize, which it was definitely not an apology. It definitely was not an apology. He tried to justify it by saying, like, his fans don't have AIDS. Like, how do you know? His fans don't have AIDS. His fans don't have HIV. He was just trying to, like, tell them to put their phones in the air. But he also said that they're not dirty. They're not junkies. I'll read his exact quote because I don't want to be misquoting him. He's already in enough trouble as it is. So I'm not going to misquote him. But he did say that they're not effing junkies or whatever he said.
I'm going to address this weak-ass internet shit one time, and I'm going to get back to giving my love to my fans. See what I'm saying? Because what me and my fans do at the live show, it don't concern you niggas on the internet or you bitter bitches on the internet. It's not y'all business. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I do at a live show is for the audience at the live show. It'll never translate correctly to somebody looking at a little 5-6 second clip from their goddamn crib on their phone. It just don't work like that. Like, you know, because regardless of what you motherfuckers talking about, how the internet and twisted up my motherfucking word, me and all my fans at the show, the gay ones and the straight ones, we turned the fuck up. I'm talking about my boy that was at the front of the stage, left over there by where I jumped at. Ask him. He got clips all on this shit. The whole night was recording. We were turned the whole night. My boy had the crop top on, front row. Yeah, out there in that jungle, in that water. Yeah, he out there. He standing on the rail, got them cutting up. He know words. I saw him. I'm rapping them bitches with him. Yeah, the hell y'all talking about? Y'all niggas, shut the fuck up. You niggas that ain't at the show. The show is for the niggas who paid the money and took the time out their life to come enjoy the show. Not you motherfuckers watching it on the internet at the crib. No, nigga, just get your tickets and come fuck with the live show killer, gay or straight. Don't let these motherfuckers hell. I say if you don't got AIDS, put a cell phone light up. I say if you ain't suck dick in the parking lot, put your cell phone lights up. So I could drop my next song. I wasn't going on no rant. That's called a call to action. That's what that's called, because I'm a live performer. I'm the best live performer. I'm the live show killer. You interact with your fans. You get what I'm saying? Look, all the lights went up, gay, straight. You want to know why? Because even my gay fans don't got fucking AIDS, stupid ass niggas. They don't got AIDS. My gay fans, they take care of themselves. They ain't going for that. They ain't no nasty gay niggas. You know what I'm saying? They ain't no junkies. You know what I'm saying? On the street. The hell you talking about, nigga? Then I said, if you ain't suck dick in the Rolling Loud parking lot, put your cell phone light up. You know what my gay fans did? Put that motherfucking light up, nigga. Cause my gay fans, they ain't got niggas. They ain't going for that. They got class, nigga. They ain't sucking no dick in no parking lot, nigga. You gotta get a room, nigga. A good one, 5-star hotel for them niggas. Or goddamn, yeah, you gotta wait till they go to the crib, nigga. They ain't just finna be out here just doing no anything. Yeah, if they a fan of me, they goddamn, they on some big dog shit. We ain't just going for nothing. You know? Even my gay fans got standards. Y'all nigga tripping. Y'all nigga tripping. Y'all bringing negative attention and energy upon yourselves. And the ones that's doing it is people who didn't even attend the show. So this shit don't concern y'all at all. Y'all niggas and y'all bitches who like to buddy in on goddamn other people business and play Superwoman and all that shit. Shut the fuck up. Don't be disturbing my motherfucking gay fans and goddamn making them feel uncomfortable in they skin. Cause you done goddamn seen some shit that you wasn't supposed to see anyway. You better thank Rolling Loud for streaming the shit. You ain't supposed to see that shit anyway. You ain't take the time or the energy or the dollar to bring your ass there to the show. So you ain't supposed to get it. It ain't supposed to translate through a little 6-second clip on the cell phone. You see what I'm saying? That wasn't for y'all. Shit don't concern y'all. Shit concern the niggas that was there. Gay or straight or goddamn both or whatever, all that shit, man. Don't none of that shit matter to me. What matter to me when I'm on that stage is putting on the show for any and everybody that's out there. And that's what the fuck I did. But ask my boy who was in the crop top on the front row how I cut up with him.
And again, that is not an apology. And that is insensitive to people that are living with that disease. He said something, when he was on stage, he said something about them dying in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And I'm like, what? Like, what? Why would you say that? Anyway, that was that part of it. So I believe that the people that are living with HIV and AIDS or that have family members living with HIV and AIDS should be upset with him for that reason. But I think the reason it got blown out of, I'm not going to say proportion because, like I said, they have every right to be upset. But there was a gay influencer that posted on his Instagram. And then Demi Lovato then reposted that person's Instagram post. And I think this is where people started to get it confused because nowhere in DaBaby's rant or whatever we're going to call it, he said he wasn't ranting, nowhere in his speech did he ever say that gay people or the LGBTQ community are suffering with AIDS and HIV. He never put the two together. And that's why I am very, very confused on how there's broken telephone going on when there's video evidence of what he said. Do gay people have a right to be offended by what he said? Yes. And I'm not going to say they don't have a right to be offended for his statement or his comment about AIDS and HIV because lots of different people are affected by that. But what I will say is that he never ever once said that HIV and AIDS was a gay disease. So I don't know why that little boy went on his Instagram and posted drawing on his chest that HIV and AIDS is not a gay disease, because that's not what DaBaby said. If that's what you heard, then you are a part of the problem. Let's address the last statement he made. The last statement DaBaby made on stage was that if you aren't going to be sucking cock in the parking lot, I mean after the show or whatever, put your phone light in the air. Then when it came time to address this part of his statement, he said that his fans, even the gay ones, they have class, and if they're gonna suck dick, it's gonna be at a hotel or something. And I'm like, okay, sir, it was just another unnecessary thing for him to say. However, I will say that that last statement that he made, it sounded personal. Like he was addressing somebody. It sounded like shade. It sounded like super duper shade. Like he wasn't just talking about anybody. It's been said on more than one occasion that his security is into boys. Like that's why he made that statement. But it's like, why are you shading your security? If that's what he's into, that's what he's into. You know what I mean? Mind your business. Maybe he caught his security doing that in the parking lot and he is making it known by throwing shade. But he needs his security, so he's not gonna, that's as far as he's gonna take it. That being said, gay people definitely have a right to be offended by that statement if in fact they are doing that in the parking lot after the show. Then you have a right to be offended. But if you're not doing that after the show, I don't really think that there's a right to be offended. The only reason people are really mad or pretending to be mad is because the narrative has been completely spun to where he associated HIV and AIDS with being gay, which he never did. And so, is he wrong? Of course he's wrong. He's dead wrong. But let's not put words in his mouth. Now, of course, the backlash is not going to end there because, one, I think he needs a PR person because he did issue some sort of apology, but we cannot even call it that because it's basically when somebody says to you, I'm sorry you're offended, but... or just, I'm sorry you're offended, or anything along those lines, it's not an apology. And of course, people that have worked with him in the past are speaking out, like Dua Lipa and this other girl that he did a song with are also speaking out. I had to insert this. The first person to actually speak out was Elton John. And I think when Elton John spoke out, that was kind of enough. But then after Elton John had spoken out, we have the people that he's worked with. And then we also have random celebrities chiming in. The two of the last people that chimed in were Madonna and then also Raven and her wife. And it's like, okay, this has already been handled. Like, how many times are we beating a dead horse here? Like, so many people don't need to be telling him or saying the same thing. It's kind of redundant at this point, and it's a little bit giving clout chase because why are these celebrities saying anything at all when he's already been addressed multiple times? It's like you're just late. And probably going to remove him off of songs like people were removing Tory Lanez off of songs. But one of the people that are speaking out, who they need to stop speaking out, is Lil Boosie, okay? Boosie has been always chiming in where he doesn't need to chime in, and people have definitely done their fair share of dragging him, as they should, because the only time we saw him acknowledge that maybe he should shut up was when he was on Mike Tyson's podcast. And so I guess he forgot that he went on there because now he's opening his mouth again. And it's weird because it's like, how come every time there's a gay issue, an LGBT issue, any kind of issue that does not directly concern Boosie, he opens his mouth to talk about it? And I really started to think about this. Him and Lil Duval as well are always chiming in on these things, and always, well, not Boosie, but Lil Duval, though he hasn't said much about this one, he always seems to have something to say about women. And I've really come to the conclusion that him, and actually Charlemagne as well, that it's a jealousy thing, and they may want to be women because they always have something negative or inappropriate to say about women, or they have severe mommy issues that need to be addressed because it just doesn't make any sense. But we're not talking about Lil Duval today. He is completely irrelevant, especially to this situation. But Lil Boosie, I have a theory about him, and I'm gonna share it with you. I'm only gonna say what I think, and it'll probably make sense to you. And you know, I didn't have this theory before, but I have it now. When he addressed the situation that is happening in his Instagram live, he once again brought up Lil Nas X. Now, Lil Nas X is always making waves, I guess, because his music videos are very controversial. His music is controversial. Everything Lil Nas X does is for controversy. Never talent, to be honest. When Lil Nas X first came out, no pun intended, he did not identify as gay. He was trying to pretend that he was straight, but of course that was never going to last because the Barbs, Nicki Minaj's fan base, knew that he was an ex Nicki Minaj stan or an ex Barb, and they called him out for his old Twitter account. And so from that point, he didn't really have a choice but to come out. He was not living in his truth. Once he made Old Town Road and kind of blew up out of nowhere, he was forced to come out of the closet. Now, people are calling him an industry plant because, I mean, everything surrounding him is just negative. Like, it's just all controversy. It's never a positive thing. So when Lil Boosie was talking about the situation with the baby on stage, he brought up Lil Nas X. And I don't know why they keep making him a point of reference, because it's like, how he get into this? Like, he had nothing to do with anything.
Now, why am I in it? And you could have did it. See how I get wrong because you never apologized.
But Lil Boosie was trying to make a statement that if Lil Nas X can go to the award show and perform that and kiss a man on stage and then drop these music videos with the same type of energy, same type of time, why can't the baby express his self on stage? How do they correlate? They don't. So I don't know what point he was trying to make, but it wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. Okay, it just wasn't. He was trying to make a point, but in his Instagram live, he was saying, he brought up Lil Nas X, and he was saying, like, isn't that disrespectful to constantly be putting that stuff in people's face? He's referring to Lil Nas X's stage performance and his music video or whatever, when boys are trying to be straight. When he said that, my ears are perked up. I said, trying to be straight? You don't try to be straight, honey. You either is or you are not. Okay, you is or you ain't. You don't try to be straight. You don't try to be gay. You don't try to be, you just are what you are, and you just live in your truth. And so when he said this is when I came up with this theory. Now, Lil Boosie has admittedly openly stated that he had, I think it was a stripper or somebody, a prostitute, somebody, he paid somebody to be with his boy children. This is definitely child endangerment. This is definitely, and I think he did it as a preventative measure because he didn't want his children or his boy children to be gay. If you look at the whole entire situation, you're like, why would your brain work that way? And so I have a theory, and I could be very wrong, but my theory is that Lil Boosie is a victim of child abuse, and not by the opposite sex, but by the same sex. And I think because of that, he struggles with his own sexuality, which is why he's constantly trying to advocate for the straights when they don't need to be advocated for. And he's always trying to advocate for children, even though he put his children through the same thing, regardless of if it was with a woman or not. It doesn't matter. It's still not okay. So because he did that, and now he made a statement that boys are trying to be straight, it really made me wonder, like, is he a victim of child at the hands of another man when he was a child? And is that why he is so adamant on these subjects? If that is the case, that makes sense why he would say people are trying to be, or not people, but boys are trying to be straight, because there's a lot of people that have gone through that kind of trauma and are confused once they become a certain age, or they find themselves attracted to the same sex and they don't want to be attracted to the same sex. There's literally people out there that don't want that for themselves, and they don't want to just accept that and embrace that. There's definitely people that that is their truth. And so I'm wondering if that's the same struggle that he is going through, because why is he so invested in gay subjects? You don't hear something in the media about gay and Lil Boosie is not putting his 2 cents in. I think he has trauma, and I think he should deal with that trauma, because I mean, I don't think he could pretend for much longer. I think he is definitely battling his own demons, why he's always fixing his mouth to talk about this stuff, because even when it came to Dwayne Wade's child, he had something to say about that. And so people were like, he doesn't have a leg to stand on, because he is the same guy that admitted to bringing a woman over to his own children. That's not how it works. If they're gonna be gay, they're gonna be gay, okay? I realize that in Hollywood, there's a lot of things that are the norm that are not the norm in the rest of the world, because the same thing happened to Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne's first time was because of a situation similar to the one that Boosie described his children were in. At the time, Lil Wayne was a child, and Baby and whoever introduced him to things that they had no business introducing him to. He is a victim of sexual abuse as well, but because of the industry, they don't even recognize it as that. It's sick. Now, this is just a theory. The crazy part is, it wasn't just his children that he hired women. It was his nephews and his son, and some were only 12. Why is that okay? Either way, everything that he's displayed, it's not far-fetched to come to this conclusion about why he's going so hard. Like, one thing I've learned about life is that you cannot fight the inevitable or fate. Things just are what they are, and they will always be what they are. And so I know there's a lot of ignorance where people don't believe that you can be on the right track and born that way, girl, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But a lot of the stuff that Boosie chimes in on is like, why do you care? I've said it before and I'll say it again. People need to stop allowing the internet and such to raise your children, okay? Lil Nas X, before he even made the video come out, the music video for his latest song, he announced it's not for kids. So in other words, mind what your kids are watching. It is not his job as an entertainer to protect your kids from what they see. If you're not going to monitor what your kids are watching, that's on you. It's not really on Lil Nas X. And again, there was no need for Lil Boosie to drag him into this rhetoric. Like, there was no reason that he needed to bring Lil Nas X into the Baby's performance, especially because, was Lil Nas X's performance raunchy? Of course it was. It's like the whole WAP situation. That's not a song or a video for kids to be singing and dancing to. Cardi B is not these people's parent. Like, she is only her own child's parent. And as we saw, she does not let her daughter listen to her own music. She turned that thing off when her culture walked into the room. So that's what every parent should be doing. And so the same goes for the award show. I guess because people were watching the award shows and nobody knew that Lil Nas X was going to be kissing men on stage. Because the viewers at home didn't know that, I guess that was a completely different story, because you definitely didn't get to control what your child saw if they were watching the award show with you that day. But as far as the Baby's performance went or goes, he didn't have, Lil Nas X didn't have anything to do with that. And Boosie had no right to bring him up again. Like, it's like you're obsessed at this point. And then T.I. chimed in and it's the same thing. Now, the difference between what Lil Nas X did and what the Baby did was Lil Nas X just performed. He might have offended your eyes because, you know, you don't want to see gay images on your screen, but he didn't offend a whole group of people that were minding their business. Like, he offended people that have an incurable disease. It's not freedom of speech. It's simply insensitive and offensive. And then when you get called out People were trying to educate and others were trying to drag him, and so obviously that's never really what makes sense. The education route is always the one that should be taken, but obviously this is not how the internet age works, especially with cancel culture. Lil Nas is just living in his truth. The baby was not doing that when he was on stage insulting people with HIV and AIDS and insulting people that suck dick in parking lots. That is not the same as Lil Nas X performing what he wants to perform. And that's what people need to understand. You cannot compare the two. Now, this is why at the beginning of award shows, they always put the viewer warning ahead of time. That's your cue. There can be sexuality, nudity, adult themes, right? And so it's your job as your parent to say, okay, kids, this is beyond PG-13. I don't want you guys seeing this. You need to go to bed. Boosie is advocating for straight people. I'm using this term very lightly, by the way. When he's doing that, and not even for straight people, but for children, I personally think that it's more of an issue. I think he's advocating for himself at this point. I don't think it's about the kids. I think it's about his own trauma, and he's trying to make it seem like, you know, he doesn't want his kids witnessing certain things. But like, you're a part of the industry. You should know. You wear gay designers, even though some of those designers are definitely questionable when he has them on. He definitely gets stuff from the marketplace. But I think that it's deeper than what is on the surface, for sure. I think it goes far beyond him being offended as a parent. And so that is really just a theory that has popped into my head because nothing else really makes sense. I mean, even if, especially because he's in the industry, you would think that he would just mind his business. Because even if you have an opinion about something, you don't always have to share it, but it's almost like he has word vomit. Like, he cannot help sharing his opinion for the life of him. Like, especially when it comes to these topics. Like, Dwayne Wade's child is Dwayne Wade's child. If you don't agree with how they're parented, that's your business, but you don't have to publicly share that. Talk amongst your friends in your house, talk amongst your baby mamas. You don't have to go on the internet and bash how they're parenting the child, even if you don't agree with it. You know what I mean? You don't have to do that. And it's the same way that they can turn around and say, you solicited a prostitute for children. Because you are trying so hard. You're going out of your way to make sure that they're straight. I never heard anything of the sort. Like, it's crazy to me that you would even try to normalize that. So people can also say they don't agree with the way he's parenting. Because that's not parenting. A man that's not battling something is not even going to think to do that. Because what is going on or what has happened is the same stuff R. Kelly is in problems for. And a word to the wise, if you wouldn't do it for your daughters, don't do it for your sons. You're not going to hire, Boosie would never hire a male stripper or a male worker to do stuff to his daughters or for his, like, what? Where do they do that at? You wouldn't do it for your girls, so don't do it for your boys. That's it. And then get on the internet and have an opinion on the way other people are parenting their children. That ain't got nothing to do with you. Here are the facts. The baby never associated being gay with having AIDS or having AIDS and HIV with being gay. He never did that. However, he was still wrong. Of course, whenever somebody does something crazy, companies start pulling their partnerships with them. And I mean, the collection was ugly, but like, I guess Boohoo just wanted to feel like they were doing something. So Boohoo pulled their collection with him. People are slowly distancing themselves from him. And if we've learned anything from cancel culture, it's that it doesn't really work efficiently. It's not really efficient. Everybody that has been supposedly canceled, with the exception of a few, they're really not canceled. And I mean, people are just going to do what they want to do. I guess now is a great time to swing back around to the Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion drama. I thought I was going to address this a long time ago, but they have not resolved anything, and it's very weird. So when it first happened, I never shared my opinion because I really didn't have one. I felt like everybody was not being 100% honest, and as you guys know, my husband has been shot before, and it was a through and through. So the bullet went through his femoral artery and through his thigh and came out the back of his thigh. I think he was shot with a 380. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But I've seen a bullet hole in person. And I have nursed a bullet wound in person, not over FaceTime. And I have watched it heal in real time. And obviously, you know, when you get shot in your leg, especially in the femoral artery, because when you're shot in your femoral artery, your chances of living are very slim. So my husband is a very blessed man, but I watched the struggle of learning how to walk without crutches. I watched him learn how to walk again. I watched the nurse come and like fill the hole with this strip thing, and he would have to do it himself as well. Like, I watched a bullet wound heal, and it definitely wasn't healing over no damn night. Okay, it wasn't over a week, 2 weeks. Like, it was a long thing. And so for me personally, I don't understand how somebody could be shot in their foot and just be out twerking and partying like they were never shot in their foot. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I'm sorry to say it, but I have a lot of different opinions about this whole situation. So let me take it back. Let's start with this. Do I think Tory shot Megan? I don't know. What we do know is that there was definitely an altercation, and we don't know why it went left, but it did. Tory is very short, so I believe he suffers from short man syndrome, and so I do not put it past him to be aggressive, to overcompensate. So nothing is far-fetched. It just does not seem to be whatever they said happened is obviously not what happened. And if it was what happened, why is he not in jail yet? Yeah, he bailed out, but Megan is not the person that is pressing charges against Tory. A lot of the things that came out when the story first happened didn't make sense and still don't make sense, and I don't have time to make sense of it. For me, this is one of the biggest things that didn't make sense was, if somebody shoots me or shoots at me, my first instinct is not going to be protect this person, black or not. I don't give a damn if you black, white, Chinese. I do not care. If you shoot me or shoot at me, I'm not getting back in the car with you, sweetheart. I'm just not gonna do it. So it happened so long ago, I don't freaking really remember exactly what happened, but from what I can remember, I remember at the time I was questioning, well, where is the fourth person in the car? Because I think in one of Megan's Instagram videos, she stated it was only her, his security, and her friend, who is no longer her friend. It was only them in the car, and her, of course. That's 4 people. But when you hear about the story, all you ever hear about is Megan Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez, and Megan's ex-best friend, Kelsey. Now, Kelsey, I find it strange that her and Megan are no longer friends, because it's like, why would they have fallen out? I also find it strange that Kelsey never spoke up when it first happened. I find it strange that if Kelsey wasn't the one to do it, why would Megan then allow that narrative to go? She stayed silent, and then when she did talk, I just feel like we don't have the right story. I don't feel like we have the right story. Like, we don't have it, and I don't know how they can prosecute him without all of the facts. Either he shot her or he didn't, and he's black. I don't understand how this is dragging out for so long. I'm very surprised that he's not in jail right now as we speak. Celebrity or not, he is weirdly maintaining his innocence. And something that annoyed me was after the Rolling Loud concert, because he was there, Megan's team had released a statement about him violating his restraining order, or the restraining order against him, because he performed, or he was at Rolling Loud when Megan was at Rolling Loud, and that should not have happened. When I saw that, I'm like, okay, please just lock this. If he shot her in her feet, he needs to go to jail, or in her foot, whatever it is, he needs to go to jail. If he didn't, I'm so tired of hearing about this. I really feel like this should be an open and shut case, and the way that it's dragged on is just crazy to me. I don't understand why they haven't prosecuted him yet. If he is indeed guilty. If he's guilty, put the man in jail and like, let's be done with this situation. I'm tired of hearing about it. It's been a year and we still don't know what happened. Like, this is literally one of the biggest mysteries. Next to where is Tupac located? Like, why do we not know what really happened that night yet? I don't understand. One thing I really disliked about the whole entire situation is when it first happened, I felt like they were trying to include this situation in the protect women, stand with women situation, which I did not agree with, because one, you cannot use that protect women platform when it benefits you alone. And I felt like the two situations didn't correlate. Referring to the Protect Black Women movement, because there was a performance that she did, and she used the Protect Black Women as the introduction to the song before she started performing the song Savage. And I was just like, what? No, like this is not right. This is not okay. One, because Megan did not try to protect herself. She got back into the vehicle, which again makes absolutely no sense. Two, once it came time to share what actually happened, she didn't come out right and say that Tory shot her. That's not what happened. It wasn't until maybe her third or fourth live, I think, I could be wrong, I don't remember, it was so long ago, that she addressed Tory directly and said, "You shot me." Said it, and the way she said it, she didn't even sound like she believed that he shot her, which was very surprising to me, because I'm like, okay, what happened? Can somebody just tell the truth? Anybody? Kelsey, like, what happened in the car? One of the main things that stood out to me was during Megan's live was that she had said that she was in the front seat, and Tory was in the back seat, and that he shot her from the back seat. But when you look at the surveillance footage, the front door of the car is open. So the driver's side door is open. The back door is closed because Kelsey had not exited the vehicle yet. And Tory's short little self is laid out on the ground, flat, because obviously the police are there or whatever. And Megan is walking backwards with her hands up towards the police. So I'm kind of confused as to why the driver's side door is open if Tory was sitting in the back seat and Kelsey's still in the back of the vehicle where Megan was not sitting. Also, what doesn't make sense is, why would Tory be sitting in the back seat with your friend if you and Tory are the ones that's dating? Why are you sitting in the front seat? Because the way she puts the story would mean that the security was driving, because she admitted that there was 4 people in the car, and she was in the front seat, and then Tory and Kelsey are in the back seat, and there's an argument happening. This makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. I don't know how it can make sense. But like I said, based on the video footage, sorry about the noise, child. Based on the video footage, Tory was driving. He was in the front seat. So, I mean, the math is not mathing. People tried to say Kylie shot her in the foot. what is going on here? Like, this whole entire situation has been so messy from the very beginning, and I really don't feel like we have all the facts. Megan can say that Tory shot her, and Tory can say he didn't shoot her, and that's all we have. All we have is hearsay. He say and she say, and it's like everybody's like, okay, we have to believe women stand with women, but literally we don't know what actually happened. Megan could have shot her own self in the foot. You know what I mean? Like, they were drinking at Kylie's house, and then next thing you know, the original report didn't even say that she was shot. It had said that she had been injured. And the pictures that Megan posted of her feet, if I compare them to my husband's bullet wound, I can't say that that is, child, even a graze, honey. Girl. Now, there are plenty of bones in the foot, and obviously none of the bones in her feet were hit. Like, I don't really understand what kind of gun this was. This a cap gun? Like, I really don't understand how her feet got shot. If this is a bullet wound, well, this is the first bullet wound I've seen that looks like this. They kept trying to bring up Sandra Bland and Breonna Taylor and comparing the two, and I'm like, this is not the same thing at all, and I don't think it's fair to try to use those movements to gain attention or sympathy from that situation or for that situation. It's my belief that if Tory is indeed guilty, if he shot her, if he hit her, if he did anything of the sort to hurt her, he definitely should not be walking around freaking wherever he wants to be, really. He shouldn't be allowed to just be roaming free. I don't understand bail and bond, and I don't get why people are... If you commit a crime, you should not be able to bond out, especially if it involves a weapon. You know what I mean? Even if he's not a danger to everybody else. It doesn't matter. He should not be able to bond out of jail while awaiting his trial. But that's just if he is indeed guilty. They're taking really long with this, and I don't really understand why. And so I feel like if he ends up being proven innocent, that is all gonna fall on Meg. And obviously once they're in court and on trial for it or whatever they're doing, we're gonna know what actually happened. But as of this point, I feel like they keep trying to push it so that we'll just forget about it, but then they keep bringing it up to remind us, like, don't forget that this happened. We're still, it's pending. And it's like, no, we want to move on from this. But when it first happened, I have to say the similarities that brought forth for me was definitely the Chris Brown and Rihanna situation. One, Rihanna and Megan Thee Stallion were both signed to Roc Nation at the time that their incidents happened. Obviously, there is a whole bunch of mystery surrounding what actually happened. And to this day, there kind of still is, even though both Rihanna and Chris have spoken out about what's happened. Obviously, Rihanna is a super freaking star. That's bae. And it kind of has taken on the same pattern. There was an altercation in a vehicle with a Roc Nation artist, and the abuser was another artist. So in Megan's case, it was Tory. In Rihanna's case, it was Chris Brown. Nobody knows what the frig happened. It's strange. And this is why people come up with conspiracy theories, because nobody wants to tell the truth of what actually happened. And the general public is left wondering and ends up saying this is Illuminati, all this stuff. And so we really just don't know what to believe. Not only is that a similarity, but the fact that obviously Chris Brown, he hit the same thing. Chris Brown actually got community service. I don't think he went to jail. I don't remember. He got community service, and he was doing community service for a while. And to this day, people will still bring up the fact that he beat Rihanna like crazy, because they released the pictures of Rihanna's face, and she doesn't even look like Rihanna because she's literally so bruised up. And I think in the Larry King interview, Chris Brown had stated he does not remember doing that to her. And it's like, were you that blacked out? But I done told y'all don't date these tourist men. Now, Chris Brown doesn't have the greatest track record because even after Rihanna, there is abuse allegations from Karrueche as well. We're not talking about Chris Brown today, but like, anyway, the same thing is basically whatever happened with Chris Brown and Rihanna is now happening with Megan and Tory. And is it a coincidence? I don't know, but I couldn't help but to notice the similarities in both situations. And also, one thing we are not privy to, or one thing we don't have the information on, is how it all started. What started the altercation? He did not randomly just pull out a gun and shoot her in her feet. It doesn't make any sense. What started the altercation? There have been so many different rumors and foolishness online. He was dating Kelsey. Megan stole him, and that's why her and Kelsey no longer speak, and that's why and Kelsey shot her in her feet, not Tory. Like, all these different stories online, but none of them are the actual truth of what happened. The only difference between the Chris Brown situation and this or the Rihanna Chris Brown and the Tory Lanez Megan Thee Stallion situation is the fact that there were multiple people in the car, but those people are also not saying anything. Somebody has cut a check, okay? This doesn't make any sense. This makes absolutely no sense. I don't think that Megan was ever supposed to come out and say that Tory shot her. I don't think that was what was supposed to happen, but I think the pressure from the fans is what made her come online and say that. If this was some weird publicity scheme, if it's the Illuminati and she's supposed to shoot to stardom from this incident, which, let's be real, they have given her a Grammy, they have given her multiple awards, she's always being mentioned. So this is why the conspiracy theories may look like they make sense because it's like, I personally don't listen to a lot of her music. I don't really know a lot of Megan Thee Stallion songs. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I don't know. She's just not a rapper that I am into for female rap. And then, child, well, y'all heard Seeing Green. I'm just gonna leave it at that, child. Y'all heard Seeing Green. I feel like multiple shots were taken on the Seeing Green song. And another thing is too, a lot of people have fallen out with Megan. She is an Aquarius, so that could just be, you know, what it is. But girl, I can't say if Tory shot her, and I can't say that he didn't shoot her because I wasn't in the car. But you know who was in the car that could say what happened, that is not saying what happened, is the security and Kelsey. And even Megan and Tory, because they've both done lives and we've gotten nowhere with this story. It's like, either you guys want us to know or you don't. And if you don't want us to know, then just don't bring it up ever again, because it doesn't make sense to the Gen Pop. It really just doesn't make any sense to us what happened that night. If you are not familiar with the Chris Brown and Rihanna situation that happened, look it up and then look up the Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion situation that happened. I wonder if anybody has made a comparison thingy already. I actually think that people did bring Chris Brown into it, and he said to leave him alone, child. He said he ain't got nothing to do with none of this. He is trying to live his best life, but that's just what happened. Once you get labeled as something, that's what it is for life. I'm a little annoyed with the fact that we don't know what happened because Megan is a woman. Yeah, we definitely want to take her side in all this, but I would rather just take nobody's side, because if the truth comes out and it's not what Megan said, where does that leave us? We're gonna look dumb. And if the truth comes out and Tory is definitely guilty, then he's guilty and they put him in jail and that's the end of that. We really don't know what happened, and neither one of them are being truthful. So I can't have sympathy for you if you're not going to be truthful with what happened. The only reason that we even got anywhere was because the fans literally beat it out of her to talk the truth, because so many things kept getting posted, and I think the pressure of that just really made her explode. If Tory was in the driver's side, if he was the one driving the car and Megan was sitting in the passenger's seat, I mean, when did he shoot her? Did he shoot her inside of the car? Were there bullet holes in the car? Or did he shoot her through the window into her feet, shooting at the ground for I don't know why? Did he shoot her shooting at the ground, and then when she realized the police were gonna come, she decided she's gonna get back in the car? Like, does that make sense to anybody? This is why I say I don't know what to believe, and I'm not taking no damn sides, because if you're not gonna tell the truth, I don't have time for you. I really don't. He shoots you and you decide, I don't want him to get shot from the police or by the police, so I'm gonna get back in the vehicle with the person that just shot me. Aren't they trying to kill me? I just cannot picture it. I'm sorry. I cannot picture getting back into the vehicle with somebody that shot me. Say she wasn't shot, but it was just fragments, or the bullet ricocheted off something, grazed her foot, like ricocheted off the freaking concrete and grazed her foot. If that's the case, listen, I'm trying to make sense of it. That's why I have these puzzled looks on my face. Wouldn't your body have so much adrenaline? To me, I would be in fight or flight mode, and I would have taken off. Like, what do you just shot me. I'm running. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm sorry. Maybe it's just me. But I sat there, and for a long time, I tried to make sense of it so that I could take her side in it, you know, so that I'm not taking nobody's side. But at the end of the day, I don't know these people, and I really don't care about these people, so I don't need to take anybody's side. But I just need the story to make sense, and then I will definitely say who's wrong. And the craziest part about it is she never showed the pictures of her feet until after people called her out for partying, after she had said that she was hurt and blah blah blah. Everybody's priorities are different, you know. I mean, if I get shot in my feet, I'm not gonna be all partying, I'll tell you that right now. But everybody's priorities are different, and so she felt compelled to share the photos because people were dragging her and people were in her business and blah 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 blah. But one thing about the internet is, if you share your business, people gonna be in it. I learned that. Definitely have learned that. This is why I didn't want to talk about it until after trial. Because if I came after trial and talked about it and said these things, said this is how I felt about it prior to the actual trial and seeing if he gets convicted or not, it would make more sense, because then I feel like it would be complete. But because we don't know what the outcome is going to be yet, and I feel like he's not going to get convicted. I'm not going to lie. I feel like he's not going to be found guilty, because if we look at his situation and then we look at people like NBA Youngboy and people like Pooh Shiesty, they're in jail. They are not coming out anytime soon. If we look at Casanova. So it's like, what is the difference between what they have done, because it's definitely, I'm pretty sure it's gun related, versus what Tory has done, where there is actual evidence of a gunshot wound, and we have somebody saying he shot me, but then we don't have that same person pressing charges because I think it's the state or the DA that is pressing charges against Tory. It's not Megan, which is also strange. These are the things that are making people say, we don't believe you. And I wanted to make it very clear, I'm not saying I don't believe Megan. I'm just saying I don't know what to believe, and I don't want to say he guilty if he's not guilty, and I don't want to say she's lying if she's not lying. Really, anything about either party. I just am an observer, and from the outside looking in, 1 + 1 is equaling 26, and I don't get it. Okay. I just don't get it. I really don't. So I want this situation to be over and done with so we can talk about it and be like, wow. So that's what happened. Pooh Shiesty faces federal indictment for alleged shooting and robbery. Tory Lanez has apparently shot Megan Thee Stallion and was arrested the same night of the shooting, and he's not in jail, and he's performing at Rolling Loud. NBA YoungBoy denied bond in gun possession case. They have the gun that supposedly shot Megan Thee Stallion. Why is Tory Lanez free? This is what I'm saying. Like, these are the things that just don't make sense to me. How is Tory Lanez so lucky and blessed to be walking the streets, but NBA YoungBoy has a gun possession charge and he's not? As well as Pooh Shiesty has charges against him as well, and he's not free. And who else is locked up? I think, what's his name? What Reginae boyfriend name? Why is it not coming to me? I listen to him all the time. Girl. YFN Lucci. Lucci is locked up. Okay, they won't let him out like Akon. And Casanova, I think, is for racketeering. But he's locked up, also maintaining his innocence. And it's like, how come all these people are in jail, not able to come out, but Tory Lanez is not? Something is very fishy with this situation, okay? I really just feel like if he was guilty and they had him, like, they would never have given him bond or bail, and they also would have kept him in there, you know what I mean? Because it looks, the odds are not in, the people that I just mentioned, the odds are not in their favor right now. But Tory Lanez looks like he might get off, like, I don't know. So yeah, to conclude this video, I think rappers need to stop mentioning Lil Nas X every chance they can get, because is there something you want to tell us? DaBaby never said what people are saying he said, though he was still wrong and should be chastised for what he said. Let's not mince his words and mix them up and say he said stuff he did not say. But he's still guilty. He is very guilty. And as far as Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez goes, we'll see what happens with those two, because at this point, it's above me now. Like, it's above all of us. And I don't want to hear anything about Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez's case again until we have all of the facts. And Lil Boosie, as far as Lil Boosie go, well, I hope he gets the help he needs. And T.I., with the stuff that is coming out against him and Tiny, I feel like they're about to make a documentary on you and Tiny. I don't think that you chiming into these pop culture issues should be the first thing on your agenda when you haven't addressed the stuff that is surrounding you taking advantage of women. That's pretty much it for this video. I love you all so much. In the comment section below, let me know what you guys think of all the things that I just discussed with you. And yeah, I will definitely see you in the next one.